Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. It's been 5 years since the loss of the legend that is Sean Connery, and while he's still known more for his roles as James Bond and Henry Jones Sr., there was one performance that always seems to get overlooked, and that is in the 1965 drama The Hill.
Released on this day in 1965, The Hill tells the tale of a group of soldiers being sent to a military prison in the Libyan desert during the time when World War II was nearing an end. The soldiers we are introduced to are the innocent George Stevens, played by Alfred Lynch, the cowardly opportunist Bartlett, played by Roy Kinnear, Jock McGrath, played by Jock Watson, who is hoping to serve his sentence in order to get out and fight for his country, Jacko King, played by Ossie Davis, a kind-hearted man who becomes the target for racial abuse by his superiors, and last but definitely not least, the rebellious and disillusioned Joe Roberts, played by Sean Connery. And they have the misfortune of being disciplined by the ruthless RSM Wilson, played with such intensity by Harry Andrews. A tyrannical man who lives his life by regulations yet believes he is in more control than he actually is, and will not tolerate anyone who contradicts him. He is assisted by his equally unhinged Staff Sergeant Williams, played by Ian Hendry, in one of his more disturbing yet memorable roles. Williams is a bully and a coward, not brave enough to risk his life in battle, but mean and petulant enough to abuse his prisoners in order to get ahead. A third Staff Sergeant named Harris is the only one who is sympathetic to the prisoner's plight, but is seen as a waste of space by Wilson for not being ruthless enough. Their rehabilitation is to climb the high and steep hill of the title, and it's a hard, grueling task that is carried in the sweltering heat, nearly wiping them out. Even Williams attempts it without the heavy load, and already he can barely manage a few attempts. But that doesn't stop him from forcing them to climb it to the point of exhaustion, while also overworking their most vulnerable prisoner Stevens. And after that, he dies from overexhaustion. Roberts is determined to testify against Williams and prove what Williams did was murder, which angers his cellmates who are fearful that speaking up could land them in more trouble.
I'm making a report about Williams.
Listen, Roberts. We're all aware of what happened, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Wilson tries to sweep it under the rug, but it's not long before the prisoners start to revolt. Even McGrath and Jacko stands by Roberts, while Bartlett tries to worm his way out of the situation.
I'm only looking after number one in there!
Williams has Roberts beaten as a way to intimidate him, and when he's treated by the medic, Wilson tries to get him to march, despite the protest of Harris and the medic. And when Roberts fails to stand, he calls Wilson out for what he is, in one of the most powerful scenes ever put to film.
What kind of a soldier are you?
I'm a live one unless Williams has got other plans for me.
Discipline. The army's run on discipline.
I'm a regular soldier because I couldn't get a bloody job in Civvy Street. But I was a good toy, clockwork soldier, just like you are. You throw an order at me and I could pick it up like a dog picks up a bone.
On your feet and you listen.
No, you listen! 3 bloody years in the desert, 3 bloody years fighting under paid gunmen, that's what we are.
Wilson tries to pin the beatings on McGrath and Jacko, but Roberts doesn't back down, leading to Wilson to racially abuse Jacko. Jacko snaps and decides to quit, and while also acting like a monkey as a way to undermine Wilson's authority.
I quit this thing, get around me! You hear that? You loud mouth, Sergeant Major!
And I love the scene where he's in the Commandant's office, acting like a maniac, and the Commandant has no idea what to do, and even Harris is trying his best not to laugh. But it's not too long before the medical officer and Harris are willing to give evidence of Stevens' murder. Wilson tries to assert his authority over them, but it is no use, and he leaves Williams alone to face the music. Roberts taunts a defeated Williams, and just before Williams has the chance to attack Roberts, McGrath and Jacko storm in and attack Williams, letting loose all the frustrations on him, making him feel every humiliation he inflicted on them. Roberts pleads for them to stop, but it's too late, and any hope over what happened to Stevens may have been compromised.
The Hill truly is a harsh, unforgiving experience that deserves to be seen to be believed. It never holds back on depicting the dehumanisation of war and the insanity of the authority figures who have no problem throwing their own men in the meat grinder for their own ambitions, while also showing the consequences of what happens when you push a man to his breaking point. It starts straight to the point, showing a soldier pushing his way up the hill of the title, only to see him collapse. We see the prison commandant living more comfortably while everyone else is worked to death. Sidney Lumet doesn't hold back in showing just how imposing this hill is, how this piece of mound is destroying the will of every man who's forced to climb it. The black and white photography adds more to the grim isolation of the camp, as well as the claustrophobia in the cells. Every actor looks the part. These aren't model-looking men. These are guys that look like the kind of people who have lived through this life. They are rough-looking, weathered, out of shape, and portrayed realistically without any hints of glamour. Sean Connery surely could be more than just a suave secret agent. Roberts is a broken man, haunted by the betrayal of the people he looked up to, and the price he paid obeying them. And it is all conveyed with his confrontation with Wilson. It shows how these men have gone through the same shit, except Roberts has seen through the insanity of blind trust in authority, while Wilson refuses to see reason, as it's all he knows and believes in. It's a powerful scene full of anger, with Connery at his rawest. Lumet told Connery he was going to put him through sheer physical and emotional exhaustion, and it shows.
It's been 60 years since this movie came out and it has lost none of its impact, and I highly recommend it.